Welcome to the Artful Minds by the Atelier magazine, where we plug into the pulse of creation.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Among the younger artists featured in the Atelier magazine is Dhanya, who gave up a promising future as an engineer to focus on her childhood passion, that's painting. She does not do just about any painting, but she is, as she puts it, someone who loves to paint God and humans. Dhanya's paintings depict characters from Indian mythology and ancient literature, portrayed in a highly detailed and realistic manner. In future, she hopes to explore the rich cultural heritage of India through its people, festivals, and art forms in her paintings. It's a pleasure to have you here for a conversation on your art, Miss Dhanya. Welcome to the
Good morning.
dialogue.
Thank you.
Welcome to
Thanks for the
the
lovely
yeah.
introduction.
Oh, thank you. I worked a lot on your profile actually, so
Okay.
I feel like I know you a lot even
Oh.
without having met you.
Yeah, I even sent a voice note,
Yes. So we will begin with the insightful questions today. Of course, the obvious first question in today's world where people work for money, for success, in education, higher education. The first question is, of course, you gave up an MTech in IIT Kanpur to pursue art. What is the emotional turning point that made you do so?
Turning point is like, I was doing my thesis, the second year thesis, and there reached a point when I knew this is not what I want to do, and I couldn't continue it any longer. So I went to my thesis guide's wife, who's like a mother. There we have teachers. They live cottages within the campus. So I went to her and I told her, I want to drop out. I can't do this anymore. Yeah, then she was like, okay, just few more months left for you to finish your degree. So why now? You can stay long. I was like, no, I can't do it. This is too much. This is not what I want to do. I know by now, I know for sure this is not something I can do. So then she told me to come in the evening when my professor will come for tea. So we sat down together and she gave me a nudge. And she was like, okay, now you introduce the topic.
Okay.
And I spoke to him and I said, sir, I don't want to continue this. I'm dropping it. Then he is the one who convinced me, like, just stick around for I think it was 3 months left now for me to complete the thesis and get the degree. Like, after that you can do anything, what you want. But he was not disappointed. Initially, I was worried that he'll be disappointed that, when I say I don't want to do this. But he wasn't. He was actually very happy that, when I showed him, the paintings and all. So, I think that was the point when I knew this is not for me. And
Oh, that's great. That's great that you had such understanding mentors and teachers.
Yes.
Who saw the potential in you. So I just want to ask, has your rural upbringing in Kerala influenced the themes and energy of your work? And if so, how has it influenced you?
I think it's actually the nature. If you see most of my painting, you can see all the gods and goddesses are placed out there in the nature. Not in a garbhagraha. So I think that is the influence that pure nature had on me, because I grew up in a place where even an auto rickshaw won't come because the road is so you can't even call it a road. It's so hilly. It's near Kilimanur, so that's where basically Raja Ravi Verma was from. So
Oh, that's great. That's a coincidence or not?
Of course, that's a coincidence. Happy coincidence.
Okay. So that's great. You mentioned that Goddess Parashakti is one of your favorite, images to paint. Why is she such a recurring and powerful subject in your art?
Initially, it was that I felt very drawn to the mother goddess form. So in the beginning, it was like when I paint the goddess, I feel so connected to the motherly love. I feel that love. So that is how it started. But then as I matured, I feel it become like I started realizing that she is not just in one form. Parashakti is the creation itself.
Okay.
When then a point came like when I see anything, it is like it's all God's creation.
God's.
Even it's a bush or a thicket or whatever, then I started appreciating it more. Then it become I can't even put a dot on a canvas without having painted Parashakti. It's like
Okay.
I now I think I can't paint anything but Parashakti. Whatever I paint it is Parashakti.
That's wonderful. So you relate it to nature.
Yeah. So initially I was more into getting the forms right in terms of how it is described in the scriptures and all. But now it's like whatever I paint, just have to have that devotion in heart. Whatever it is going to be her. That is how I feel now.
Oh, that's wonderful. So you have mentioned that mythology and ancient literature are sources among the sources for your paintings. So how do you approach your the research in order to understand mythology, ancient literature, and maintain authenticity in your artwork?
Mythology is something we all grew up with.
Yes.
Yeah, listening to the stories.
Yes.
I think it's if you ask from where you got an inspiration, maybe you can't even trace it back. It might be some stories which your mother or grandmother told. But for me also, the influence of mythology was there from the childhood because I grew up listening to all the stories and then reading them. So yeah, so its influence is always there. But when it comes to researching, I wouldn't call my art very very authentic when it comes to uh, uh, staying true to the mythology. So for me, I feel like you just take the essence of it, essence of what you understand or what you feel, and then create it in your language. So I wouldn't call it my art very authentic in terms of scriptures. So I think it is more like a devotee's version than a scripturally accurate version.
Okay, excellent. That brings me to a question that I wanted to ask you and people who paint gods and uh, you know, how do you know what God looks like that you paint them like this?
I don't know what God looks like. If you ask,
Mhm.
we can't put God in a form, can we?
Yeah, you have done that. How do artists do that?
I think for me, most of the God paintings are commissioned works, the ones I do.
Okay.
Yeah, so the people who approach me, they usually have an idea of how
Okay.
they want their. So now the question I ask everybody who want a God painting from me is like, well, how does your God look like?
Okay.
Ask him that.
That's a good question. Okay.
Yeah. So for
Yeah.
example, if somebody comes to me say they want Rama, then I will definitely ask them, is your Rama blue? Is your Rama dark skinned? Okay. So it's like you can't say Rama is not this or Krishna is not like this because they actually resides in our heart. Whatever
Yes.
our heart feels, it has to be true for that person at least.
Excellent.
So yeah, I think it is finally what is the image we connect with the most.
That makes a lot of sense. So, linking it to that answer, what do you hope someone feels when they stand before one of your artworks? What do you
I
hope they
I
feel?
hope they feel that devotion, the pure love and bliss. I hope. I don't know, but I really hope they feel that blissful connection to that.
Okay. So, what advice would you give young artists in the same genre who'd like to paint in the same genre? What kind of advice would you like to give them?
Same genre.
Yeah, young artists.
Okay, so one thing for any artist, I would recommend is like balance practicality with
Hmm.
passion. So that is something I didn't do. I didn't know. I just jumped into it without having any financial backup, with no support. So it was almost like I reached a point where I felt like I'm a failure. I can't do this anymore.
Okay.
So that there was that really dark phase. So I would recommend somebody to have a proper backup, plan it out. Start part time instead of starting full time,
Okay.
and then eventually, step by step, come to this full time. So yeah, and another thing is like, when painting gods, many of when I mean I have gotten this treatment, like when I'm painting gods, it's not mainstream art sort of um, reaction I got from people. Oh, she's somebody who paint gods. No, like that is not art. That is some section of spirituality. It's also art. We are also painting, like, it's like, just because we are painting something that people feel spiritually connected to, that it doesn't mean it is not art. Any art is God. All
Yes.
art is God.
Yes.
So yeah, that is, don't, I would like anybody who wants to do God paintings to feel like, don't be discouraged because you will be called a spiritual artist. There is nothing bad in it. It's not bad.
course.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing.
Of
So
course.
yeah. So that is.
Okay. So coming to time management and the influence of motherhood on your paintings, has it had any influence on your art, your themes, and of course your time management?
Of course, definitely. I think all the baby god images, baby
Okay.
that happened after motherhood. Like,
That's
first one was a baby Ganesha. I don't know whether you have seen that painting.
I've seen it.
Yeah, the one he's offering the modak. That I painted during the pregnancy.
Okay.
So that is the first time I really connected to that image of a cute, innocent baby. So I think it's the pregnancy, it's the motherhood that made me appreciate that form of God more. And yeah, so baby Ganesha, Bala Tirupal Sundari, Yashoda Krishna, all this happened during the motherhood phase.
Okay, that's lovely. So your work blends spiritual devotion and artistic realism. How does it influence your work and technique in your process?
Yeah, in terms of technique, I'm self-taught first of all, so I get influence. I try to learn from the Western academic tradition. So
Okay.
yeah, so what I try to achieve by that is, like, I really like the gods to come alive, more than any other techniques. Like, we have Kerala mural, which I love, by the way, which has its own,
Yes.
earthy
Yes.
divinity about it. I really love that. But when it comes to my paintings, I like the person who stand in front of the painting to feel like the god is really there. So that is why I prefer the Western realism, because that helped me make it feel like the god is there actually in front of you. So the technique was, it's purely academic tradition.
Academic. Okay. So who or what influenced you to become an artist? Is it the fact that you live so close to Raja Ravi Verma's birthplace?
Yes.
That's wonderful. Oh.
That's you cannot avoid it, because you come from the same place, and I wrote my 10th board exam in Ravi Verma school. So wherever you go, people talk about him. You just get exposed to his artwork.
Yes.
Yeah, so that was inevitable.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. That was inevitable. That's nice. Well put. So, is there any painting of yours that makes you look at it and say, yes, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to be doing. I am doing the right thing.
I think that is always the latest painting.
Oh, that's wonderful. Okay.
It's like, okay, the work I have done, the last, I feel, okay, there is a little more improvement. Oh, I can make it,
Yes, That's great.
Maybe if I look at a work which I did a couple of years ago, I may not. I feel differently, looking back. But when it is fresh and I just made it, then I feel so confident about it. So it's always
That's great.
interesting.
Those answers were lovely. It's obvious that art is innate, that is inside you. Forget Raja Ravi Varman. I'm sure you would have been a great artist even without him. There are a few questions which are rapid fire questions. I would like you to answer as briefly as possible. Yeah. So the first question is a more like a supernatural question. The goddess Parashakti invites you for tea. What would be the first thing that you would ask her?
Nothing. I would just stay there and enjoy the moment, then ask anything,
That's great.
I don't want to ask any wrong question and get into trouble. So
that's being wise. What's the one painting you haven't made yet, but dream about painting constantly?
Actually, I have already made the painting I have dreamed about.
That's wonderful.
Just now, that's the latest one I did. It was Lalita Devi.
What's the subject of your painting?
Lalita Devi. Lalita
Devi. Okay.
Yeah. That's so it's I always envisioned her near a pomegranate plant, because when it's like I imagine her red, that she's red, right? She's like ruby red. So I imagine those pomegranate flowers are her aura strewn around her. So that is how I always see her in my mind. Her in red, and there are these flowers around her which are also equally bright red. So that was there in my heart for many years, and finally I got a chance to paint it.
Wonderful. So you painted it for yourself?
No, it was a commissioned work.
Commissioned.
I was so happy that I got a commissioned work to paint.
Wonderful. What is the strangest place or moment you have found divine inspiration?
I don't know whether it is strange, but while I'm traveling in a bus, like the normal KSRTC kind of bus, the open bus, when I look outside and see all the, it necessarily had not to be like greenery or beauty, but anything, like a bush or a thicket or anything that is wild and untamed. When I see that, and it inspires me.
That's great. So greenery brings me to the next question. If your life were a canvas, what would the background color be?
I wish golden.
That's an honest answer.
I wish.
Okay. One mythological character you'd love to bring to life, just for a conversation?
Arundhati Devi.
Arundhati Devi. Why?
I'm always fascinated by her story. We just look at the star, Arundhati and Vasishtha, right? I used to do that not now, but earlier when we used to live in a place where we can see all the stars properly. So I used to go and look at, I don't know, I'm just so fascinated by her story, how it's like the story says her husband, he was away for like years for penance, but she never even worried like, oh, what if he went with somebody else? What if he's having an affair? Nothing. She is just always 100%. She never felt needy. She's not a needy woman. She is a complete woman. She didn't feel like he has to be near me, or I'm the half or he's the other half. Nothing. She is a complete woman. Even though she has no news where he is. I mean, she was always self-assured, very confident, doing her thing. So I'm like, how can somebody be like that?
That's wonderful.
I be like, oh, did he go after somebody else? I'm like curious. How did she do that?
Thank you. So what kind of background would you like to have when you're painting? Is it music, temple bells,
while painting?
Silence? Yes, silence. Silence.
Silence, yes.
Okay. So the last question, rapid fire question. Realism with an Indian soul. If it were a movie title, who would you cast in it?
Okay, if it is going to be a movie, definitely I would like Raja Ravivarma to be the main. Casting an actor, I don't know. I haven't really thought about that.
Okay.
I don't know it.
Okay.
I can't
Thank
find.
you.
I can think of anybody soon. Yeah.
I think
Maybe
Raja Ravi
Surya.
Verma is the best. Maybe?
Raja Ravivarma is if it is about Raja Ravivarma, maybe it's Surya. Maybe.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much, Dhanya. That was such an interesting conversation with you.
Thank you.
I wish you all success and all the best. Thank you.